Hello, everyone. So today we have a stock market update to get to, but after that, I am going to be talking a little bit about my new coding project with Python. It's a game and it involves TensorFlow, so that's the teasers I'll give you. I might have talked about it a little bit before this, but I think this is going to be the most in depth description of what's going on. But we are going to pull up the stock market here, and I actually don't have it up at the moment, so let me grab that. Um, and sorry about this. Right. And I think there may be a weird graphical glitch going on there, but we should be able to get that figured out. Right. Yeah, I think we're going to have to live with that for a second. Okay. So, um, all right, that's a little bit better. You can still see it, but um, we are just going to grab our calculator here. And so I told you that we needed to have more votes, and you can actually go vote in this week's stock market up in the corner right now. But we did have more votes technically. We had one more vote than we did last time. So there were two votes for anyone that's keeping track. And so I will go ahead and input those voting percentages. So we have a percentage for red at 0%, a percentage for yellow at 50%, a percentage for green at 0%, and a percentage for blue at 50%. So with that, we can see that it's certain that yellow and blue will not go down. There is a very small chance that they could stay where they are, but we are going to see how that goes. So let's grab a random number between 0 and 50. And you can see on my calculator that number is 19. So once again, we have a good day in the market. Now, this seems to have been a trend, even though this is a randomly created market factor between 0 and 50. There is a trend for having relatively good days in the market, and so that shows that the market is generally going up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit new market here. We're going to zero out this market factor, and we're going to go look at how the scoreboard is doing. So if we go look, you can see that both me and Megan, or Megan and I, have ascended slightly further on the scoreboard here. Megan is over 3 times her starting value. My sister has still passed Boring Boris, but is now catching up to Even Steven here. And I have definitively doubled my beginning money. Now, I did invest a lot in yellow, and yellow has bounced back since then. I think that this may be an opportunity. Well, I do have a lot of red stock, so I don't know if I want to buy more, because in doing so, I would have to sell out of the current stocks that I have, and that would be selling out of blue, which is the value that is the highest right now and seems to be on a continual trend. So I'm going to, just to show the trends, I'm going to add this into the historic data. So we have, actually, I should be able to just copy and paste these. Sorry for the confusion here. If I just copy and paste, copy, and go here, select this region, paste. It seems I can't just easily paste that. Okay. Then I'm just going to type them in individually. So that was 61, wasn't it? I keep hitting the wrong tab. All right, so 61, 108, 128, 255. So those are pretty easy numbers to remember. 108, I believe that's 9 times 12. Yes. And then 128 and 255. 255 is a nice number because it is the highest number in a array of color indexes. Usually, but that's kind of unimportant. So we're going to put a 7 over here and hit our update button. And now you can see blue has slightly slowed down from its major jump last time, but we are still seeing this positive trend, whereas red is on its continual degrading. Green has sort of gone over the hump, and yellow is just kind of bouncing around here in the middle. So yellow is more of a day trading stock here, whereas blue, when I bought it, was very low and has turned into a significant long-term investment. So this is the picture for the stock market. Once again, if you have not participated in the stock market, this is very important that the YouTube audience votes in the poll up in the corner. You just have to click on the little eye icon, and then a poll will pop out. You can click on the stock that you want to vote for, and it will affect the market. And at this rate, it will affect the market significantly if you do participate. So you have that to look forward to. But that is all I want to talk about on the stock market. I don't think I'm going to buy or sell any stock right now. I seem to be well invested in the two that did well this week, and I don't think that I want to get any more red, just because red, as you have seen, has been on constant decline. So maybe if I see a bounce back in possibility, I would jump on that train. But I do have a lot of stock, which is somewhat holding me down at this point. So I am going to hold out and wait to see what happens in the weeks to come. I did talk to Mike. This is the guest that will be coming on this Saturday. He did say that he would participate in the stock market. I don't know how active he will participate, but he will buy in according to my conversation with him on Tuesday. So we can look forward to that on the Saturday stream. And so just a reminder, that is Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to save this off, and we're going to go back to the regular screen to just have a little chat about my current project. So this is something that I've been working on a lot today, and I've been tossing around in my head for the past few weeks. But essentially what it is I want to create a game that is using Google's AI TensorFlow to control the enemy. So the premise that I have decided to go with is a game that for right now I am calling Sell Me Something. It's sort of a reference to the SpongeBob episode when they're walking down the road at night and he says, "I feel like someone's trying to sell me something," and there's actually a salesman hiding behind a rock somewhere. But the idea is that there's going to be probably there's going to be like a mother in this old open, not, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be old, but it's an open market kind of marketplace at night, and she is trying to find her child who has scurried into the marketplace, and all the while randomly is encountering this traveling salesman. And when the traveling salesman encounters her, he tries to chase her down to sell her something, and then if she runs away for a long enough time, he gets bored and runs away. So what's going to be happening with that is that the AI will be controlling the traveling salesman. What I'm hoping and what I'm picturing in my head is that the AI will collect data on the user, and will use that data while not chasing the user to practice chasing the user. So this is an idea that may be good, may be bad, because the thing is and so what I'm planning to go with is a convolutional neural network, which is very nice with TensorFlow, Google's AI. The thing with this is that with a convolutional neural network, you need a very large data set so that you can train it on that data set. So what I need the AI to be able to do is acquire that data set in the amount of time that it is chasing the user. So I'm hoping that I can set it up so that it gets enough data in that amount of time to begin learning, and then as it encounters the user more and more, it gains more data. What that data would be over a span of time, essentially what the user would be doing in reaction to the AI's movements. So if the AI is turning right or something when the user is somewhere, then then it would catalog the user's reaction and try to get into a pattern where the AI can get as close to the user as possible by predicting the user's moves. So I think that this is something that is very possible because what convolutional neural networks are very good at is things like picture recognition. So it can take in the data of a picture, which is extremely large, and find specific things within the picture. Like it can be used for facial recognition. Google has shown on websites that it can recognize like dogs and cats in pictures if trained properly, and decipher between the two. And then there's some interesting things you can do with it by setting it in reverse and making things have more cats in it. But that's probably for another day. But what I'm doing is I am going to set it up so that the AI is taking a frame of time as sort of like a column of a picture. And then as time moves along, it will create sort of like a giant array of data. And then it will be able to sift through that data and attempt to make decisions, set up a decision making process for the AI to follow the next time that it enters the arena. Now, the way that it will find the user is also going to be somewhat artificial intelligence. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a secondary neural network running for this. It may just be simply something where I set it up so that the data adjusts itself a little bit once it realizes it. But essentially what I want it to do is to create a heat map of where the user has been on the actual map. So it will have knowledge of the map, and it will know where the user has been since the game began. So what I want it to be able to do is run statistics on where the user is, where the user is walking towards, and like what the user's doing pattern-wise of walking, and find out the optimal position outside of a certain radius to plop down the traveling salesman so that the user will actually run into him. So I don't want this to be something where the traveling salesman simply just spawns on the user. That would be way too simple. I want the AI to figure out where to spawn the traveling salesman. Now, this may become a little tricky if I have objects on the screen that are blocking specific spots from being used, but at the same time, if the user can't get there, then the AI shouldn't be thinking that it's a good spot on the heat map to put down the traveling salesman. So these are all ideas that I'm messing around with. I did work a little bit on it today, as I mentioned, so I'm going to show you what I have successfully done so far. I should be able to just run it here. And now you can see it on the screen, I believe. Yes. So you can see we have our character, our mother character, sitting here bobbing up and down. And I will be controlling this character by moving the arrow keys. So I can move to the right and the character begins to run. Now this isn't very fast, but you can see that now that the character has gotten to the middle of the screen, the character is no longer moving to the right. The animation is still going. This isn't a glitch. This is built in because I'm generating it for a map that is larger than the window we see. So now you can see that the character is running all the way to the side, and that's what we wanted to see. So what's happening is that this is the other edge of the arena, and we can run back in the opposite direction. So what's happening is as the character gets close to the other edge, I don't want to just show nothingness. I want the character to run to the wall. So this is what we're showing. Now, I haven't worked out all of the animations yet. I'm drawing all of these by hand in Paint. So each little frame that you're seeing was hand drawn. Now, it's a pretty small picture, so that doesn't take much time. But I do find that to be a little bit more satisfying. And I do have this problem where if I stop, it doesn't go back to the null state where it's just bouncing up and down, even if I get it to look that way. Now, the reason it doesn't do anything when it's going this direction is because I simply haven't drawn out the animations for this. I just wanted to test to see if my idea was working with how, because I've never actually just printed pictures to the screen. I've always built the pictures in Pygame. But what I'm doing here is I have drawn the picture in Paint, and then I took out the background, which I had to use a different program for, but it wasn't too hard. I just had to download a secondary. Essentially, it was Paint, but it was bootleg Paint, if you can believe it. And so then I have my character here that has no background and is pasted on top of my black background. Now, this black background will be filled in with an environment that will hopefully look somewhat like an open marketplace. But you can see that I can move diagonally, which is something I've always had trouble coding in the past, but I've watched some tutorials on game making. But you can see there's no animation for going up, so it just does the null state. And then, like I said, there's no left-facing null state at the moment, which would be really easy for me to add in. I just didn't have the time to do it before streaming, and I had to cook dinner and stuff. So, but this is just a concept art, I guess, of the character. I'm hoping to make this where the character can run a little bit faster, but I also want to add in a sprint feature. So I might keep this the base speed because this is 60 frames a second, and I think this is... that means that the character can move 60 pixels a second, and the width of the entire box that you see down in the corner here is 500 pixels. So that means that the user can get across the screen in, I guess that would mean less than 5 seconds, but then it gets to the middle, so then it stops. So I'm pretty satisfied with this. There's a lot of kinks I need to work out with when the character stops, it needs to sit there and bob like it was previously when the game starts. But this is the general idea for the character, and I am going to be working with TensorFlow in order to get some practice with convolutional neural networks so that I can implement the convolutional neural network into this program. I'm hoping that with the TensorFlow running, because Google is amazing and has created this beautiful program, I'm hoping with TensorFlow running, it won't slow down the game any, because I know my neural network, at least, could be rather tolling on a computer's processing. Not necessarily this new computer that I have. It's a gaming laptop, so it's relatively hardy in the processing power department. But if I do finally make a finished product of this, I want to be able to present this on the internet or send it out to some people in a finished product state so that it can be downloaded and easily played on the computer without someone having to have Python on their computer. So that's something that I need to definitely figure out. If you have any ideas on how to do that, I know there are some fixes on the internet that you can do. I guess I want to try and shy away a little bit from the .exe file strategy where you just make it an executable and then it will run, because people tend to be a little scared of that. But I'm not sure what the best strategy is, so it's definitely something I'm going to have to do some research into once I get closer to that point in the project. But for now, I have this cute little animation that I can control, and I will be fleshing out this game in the weeks to come. So that is pretty much all I want to talk about for today. Like I said, I do have Mike, the CEO of the Useless Duck Company, coming on at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. He's going to be talking about driverless cars. We might make it a little bit of a debate. I'm still discussing it with him because I think he is more along the lines of the idea that driverless cars are not as close as the media projects them to be. And I figured that I could probably find some counterpoints or perhaps just find some points to add to his argument as well. So I've been brainstorming and I'm interested to hear what he has to say, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. So I will be seeing you on Saturday, and I want to thank you guys for watching.